Alright, so this is a very, very early game in Lee Changho's career. This is from 1996. I have a lot of requests almost whenever I actually go over a Lee Changho game, where people want to see the style in which Lee Changho kind of became famous for sort of giving people what they wanted out of a game, and yet they still lost it, and Lee Changho won. It was an interesting style to develop. And we're going to go over a game which kind of highlights this. It is not the one that I picked in my picks this weekend. So those of you who think you know what game I'm going over, you do not. Unless you look over every game in existence, then maybe you do. But barring that, this should be fairly new to most of you. Alright. So we have almost a normal opening. It's normal-ish in that we don't have any crazy Tengen moves or just odd corners being taken. It's a diagonal approach. Alright, sweet. And as we know by now, because we've studied a lot of Go, diagonal typically means we are in for a territorial game, rather than an influential one. Alright, sweet. So, let's see, white takes a 3-3. That right there just got a little bit more unusual. We don't usually see 3 points taken nowadays by black or white or whoever. But yes, alright, white opens up with a 3-3 point. It's cross Fuseki, territorial. Maybe the 3-3 turns out pretty well for him. Let's see how it goes. Black approaches. He approaches nice and high. Not surprising. Or nice and low, sorry. It would be surprising if he approached high, because that would be influence, and this is not what what game's going to be. So, white has options. Can back off, can approach, can pincer, but pincer's a little bit less commonly seen, because at that point, simple jump outs and pincers and what have you turn into also extensions for black, so it gets to do two things at once, attack you and expand, so that kind of gets me a little bit uncomfortable. White sides to approach, just fairly normal, like I mentioned. It's pretty common to either back off here or do an approach. Now this is where the game is a little bit complicated, because black does pincer, and white ignores that as well in order to approach the last open corner. Okay. So this is where decisions are starting to be made. For example, what is black going to do? Is black going to continue fighting on the left-hand side? Is black going to back away? Is black going to follow up on top? Or, as is also an option, is black going to approach the 3-3 with whatever he wants to do? I mean, any of these are completely fine choices, but given the kind of style that black is a little bit more known for back in the day, should be a little bit not surprising that we do see him go ahead and back off here. It says, if you want to go on the left-hand side, you can do so. Rats wanted to pincer. That would be aggressive. That would be more inclined to fight what white is trying to do. So, backed off. White pincers. Alright. Now we've got some development and an attack going on here. Sweet. Easy to follow. Hello. Is this too good for white? My better question would be, why would you think this is too good for white? Because you seem to be inclined towards believing that it is. What about this seems really, really good for white? Let's see where your thinking has gone. The pincer stone seems connected to D6. Aha! That is... Ooh, what? No? Not connected? But influenced. Aha, okay, good. Because, yeah, connected would be way wrong. That is completely invadable. We can do a lot of different things there. Definitely not just arbitrarily all given towards white right now. Is it influenced? Yes, but it is still very much open. So I mean, we can imagine right now there's pincers available of all, you know, shapes and sizes. There's caps still available if we were going to try and develop the bottom, but capping a fourth line stone is a little unusual, but hey, we can still do that if we really need to. Our C15 stone is still nice and healthy, not in very much danger there. We can bring that out, live with it, settle it, whatever we want to do. So we can see what White's trying to do, but that's nowhere near all being his just yet. So no need to think this is favorable. Though, as Rats mentioned, Rats would prefer to pincer, and he's a down-level player, so you can see that this does make him a little bit uncomfortable too. Black decides to pincer to make White a little bit more unsettled. He has to decide exactly what he wants to do. Is he going to commit, and if so, to what side? Is he going to commit to the A stone, to the B stone, or to the C stone? How is he going to follow up? How would you guys follow up here? I am curious. What would you guys do here? So many stones unsettled. Which one do we strengthen? And how do we know that? Any ideas? How do we know which of these stones need help? Or do we? Is it all the same? We like just roll some dice? 1 through 2 will help A. 3 or 4 will help B. 5 or 6 will help C. That's a good way to pick our moves, right? Alright. 1 critical miss. Alright, C10 looks annoying, but is it? Good question to ask. Not very severe against A. Oh, we do help. Okay, so... Alright, so Rats is focusing on is wondering about C10. Callaghan is wondering about A, so it looks like he's focusing on C10 as well. I would go with D15, I think. Interesting choice to make the C15 stone stronger. White chooses something a little bit different. White goes with backing off. Now, I don't think that I would choose this, because I would be wondering, well, what happens if Black simply attaches? Do I Hane and allow for potential crosscut? Is there attachments he can make to strengthen himself before that kind of thing? How is any of this going to work? But alright, he's treating his stones nice and light. As expected, Black attaches to make himself a little bit stronger. And here's where interesting things start occurring. Because we have right now White saying he's interested in the left-hand side, given that he's got 2 stones over there. We expect Black to get stronger on this position in order to fight that particular claim, given he also has stones over there. But with his one exchange, Black crosscuts. And with that crosscut, he says, you know what? I'm not interested in that side. I'm going to go ahead and live in your corner. That is an interesting thing to say, because you just made White stronger on the left-hand side, where he obviously wanted strength anyway. Okay. Let's see how White tries to follow that up. Now, in this instance, White follows it up by following up the other stone that he approached and was pincered at with P17. He's going to go ahead and do something with that particular stone. In this case, threaten to come out, which Black obviously is not going to allow to do. That would be absolutely crazy if you just, like, kick this and try to do something there, that wouldn't really make much sense, because that's just making your opponent really, really strong and enclosing your entire corner. Nobody would want to play this variation, I don't think. So alright. Played far away. Our stone's not getting hurt directly. We get to live in said corner, which is very good. Nice large corner. Stone's a little bit hurt, but nice large corner for ourselves. He wanted to live, he got there in Sente. Okay. So far white has said two things. I want strength on left, and black went into the corner, said you can have it. And white has said I want to live in corner, and black said alright, you can have that too. So now white says, I can see that your stones at d3 and f4 want to extend along the bottom, right? Because typically this is the kind of extension that you want to make here. So white takes that for himself. Alright, so we can see that white is being just a giant annoyance to black right now. And how is black going to respond? That is where this game gets really interesting. Because black says, well, if you are not going to follow up the left-hand side and just keep taking my corners and taking away my extensions, I guess I'm going to go and do something with the stones that you're not getting rid of. So, alright. He's using Aji. Here's an interesting thing, though, to decide to play here. Because if we... Let's not ruin the SGF tree. I'm not doing it this game. This is going to be a flawless tree. Mark my words. If white does not go here, and white goes here, for example, then what we wind up seeing is a group in dire need of assistance, right? In exchange for maybe having an attack on c10, there is a definite attack on the marked stones of white. So that wouldn't make sense to play that way. Good point. Why is there an S there? Let's pretend it just didn't exist. Thanks, Kiga. Alright, so white turns, and instead black gets to connect. Why? Because horrible happenings if we just try and fight everything. So alright, instead, white's gonna go and take some influence for himself. Which we kind of knew he was after anyway, or at least inclined to take anyway, back when he played, where was it? Yeah, we have a high approach. High approach typically denotes influence. We have high pincer, much the same. He did not follow up to make left-hand territory. He's instead letting black struggle to create the influence, so it looks like things should be going about as he expected. Or was hoping for. He's getting all of the influence that he wanted in the middle of the board. For the middle of the board, rather. Cool. So alright, everything is now nicely connected. Black gets to live low. Now, immediately, a lot of us would go into crazy mode and look at the influence and be like, if I'm not careful, he's just going to be getting who knows what, time to, I don't know, play Tengen in YOLO, I suppose. Just be like, boom, I got rid of all of your influence. Unfortunately, Tengen's not worth very many points, besides some reduction to something that may or may not occur. And instead, black takes some solid territory for himself, which is a good idea. He's played territory on the left, territory on top. Not sure what this is doing yet, but we'll get back to that later. Whereas if we played a crazy move like Tengen, well, it opens up other things. It opens up this, for example, a further approach to white. It opens up potential leans to just surround. That would be my favorite, just surround Tengen and kill it. I'm always in favor of that move. If your opponent plays Tengen against you, I don't care if you lose the game, just kill it. Because with me, that's a moral victory, so go for it. Yep, massive Tengen hate. But alright, Black takes some territory for himself. White plays an enclosure. So now what are we going to do? Well, what do you think? What's the largest thing on the board right now? Right side? Could make an extension. I guess you're eyeing, what, R8? A move at A? Could be something. You're undercut there, though, keep in mind, but the undercut does make it a lot less sexy than it should be. Since the Q8 stone is high. Okay. Q6. I type good too. Now, with everything being settled, because we can see Group A obviously not gonna be in trouble of life in any time soon. I mean, if you need numerical reasons, you can think of how large an eye space you need to survive, and then you can start counting, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10, whatever. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty frigging alive. Especially since it can also still do things like get a larger base, threaten to connect up for more solid base, etc, etc, etc. So that group clearly gonna be okay. Everyone should be able to see that. This, fairly enclosed, no obvious invasion points. C has got shape. So all of Black's groups are okay. How about White's? Well, we could. Let's not use letters anymore, we might get confused. We could attack one, I suppose. There's a pincer there, but we'd be going in between the one stone and an enclosure with no way of getting a base for ourselves. So that could be a little bit of a problem. We could go, and that's about as much as we can do to White in terms of weak groups. The only thing we have is this little interesting thing. We've got small knights upon small knights, and peeps upon pokes, upon peeps and pokes and peeps, and lots of Aji over there with this wall that White's trying to get. So Black decides, you know what? Let's see what we can do here in the most obvious fashion. This one first, because if we cut through it, if we imagine a nice little wall here, then White stones are in serious trouble, so we know we're going to get a response. White says, I respond. Okay. That's definitely a response. Black pokes through. And you're all gonna love the shape here. Black cuts. Yep, you know he's making it. Best shape ever. And connecting. So, in exchange for this rather disgusting, horrible shape that he now has on the left-hand side, he does have a cut point. And it would be insane to go through all of this trouble just to play elsewhere and let him fix it. That would be crazy. The goal was to harass this group, so we have to cut. Alright. Now, oh, how do I ask this question without giving away the answer? Vaguely. Alright, sweet. How would you respond to this cut? How do you respond? When your opponent cuts you, what is the first thing you look for? What is the first thing you should look for? Take a shot. I suppose if we're playing the go drinking game, you could do that. Sure, every time your opponent cuts you, take a shot. Sure, okay. I can see that. Can both sides survive? That's good. And once we ask ourselves if both sides can survive, we can see that the middle is in very little danger. I don't see the nearest black stones are like way over here, so not much pressure being applied here. The group that's in trouble is this one, because this one is the one that cannot survive. So you have to defend it. How do you defend this thing? The very, very vague answer I'm looking for is typically involves how to defend yourself. Because a lot of the people I teach, when they defend themselves, they literally think about just how to defend themselves. Good, Callaghan. I like that answer. It's what I was looking for, just sort of not. Yeah, just Atari, escape as fast as you can, no matter how, whatever. Just throw everything you can at the stone that's pissing you off, so you get stronger and thus don't die. What you should be looking for is how to counterattack, how to get stronger without making the cutting stone stronger. Because you have no reason to make the cutting stone stronger if you don't have to, right? I mean, if necessary, you can even kill the thing. But you can't if you start playing Atari like a crazy person. So white looks at the bottom, and he sees the shape is really, really strong. So he attaches to that shape, because why not? He can't make this any harder to invade than it already is. So he's going to try to get some Aji, yeah, he's going to use it to strengthen himself. He's using it for Aji. It's good. White's got a nice response. He's going to respond. Black doesn't want to die, so he's going to do that there as well. Now here was a weird thing. And another weird thing. My cursor is going crazy. I love AMD. I really do. I love the graphics cards. I like having dual monitors. But this stupid cursor bug has been around for like the last 6 years. I really wish they would fix it already. Alright, so here we go. I should see if that ever shows up in my videos too. I'm curious about that now. But yeah, white decides here. I guess thinking black's going to defend. Black says that's only one stone and doesn't defend. Would be cool if it defended though. If he like defended here, that'd be pretty good for white. Got pretty strong. Can even continue off getting stronger down here if necessary. So he might even be able to live locally. Might be playable, as well as being able to potentially really hurt that cutting stone. So cool ideas there, but black calls no joy and goes to surround. Okay. White says, then I'm going to live here. I hope you do not mind. Black says, I do not mind at all. I notice you have shape problems. White says, that's a very good point, but I can still connect, so don't underestimate the strength of these stones. Black tries to leave. White says, I would like to make you heavy. And black seals white in. Ah, it's doing it again. I hate that. Alright, there we go. Alright, haven't messed up the tree yet. We're doing good. White's forced to live. Then black connects, as does white, keeping himself all one group. And now from here, it might be a little bit difficult to see how this game is going to go. So some of you may be surprised with what you're about to see. Black moves to connect. Alright. Black did all of this to invade at N3. There's a lot more to it than that there, Rats. Though I like how you're thinking. What Rats is noticing is there is a giant well in the middle of the board. And he wants to use the wall by putting pressure on the L3 stone. But no, it's much grander than that. because white comes out, setting up himself nice and prime to take advantage of the small knights, because I'm sure, as everybody knows by now, or at least you should, is the one thing with small knights is that they can be cut. And that is really, really, really important to remember. Okay. So, clearly we're going to defend ourselves now, right? Not yet. Black poke. Black poke. And then defense corner. Why not? It's free. White has to not die. So there's white playing not dying. Needs to maximize eye space. That allows him to cut through, can't allow that. So we go ahead and defend ourselves there. Black gets to go back and ask if you're alive. White says, yes, I am. Please leave me alone. And then, yes, goes back and invades at N3. Now, I kind of like what white's trying to do in here next. Because despite this, we have an option. We could just say, oh my god, we're under attack. Time to run and run and run and run and run. And maybe we can connect this stone out. But that does seem kind of crazy. It's like, that's the goal? Right now is white to just potentially run clear across the other side of the board? Plan kind of sucks. So he decides to make a fight. He decides to fight right here, where these small knights are. If he can get stronger here, then he can easily bring out his stone, because he's not running across the board. He's running to a group that's already probably strong from attacking the center group. I mean, black's going to defend himself, right? Sort of. Sort of, sort of, sort of. He instead is interested in the center stones. And black decides not to care about that. He could try to fight this, I guess. But again, how are you going to fight it? Are you going to fight it, I don't know, this way? And again, make the center stone stronger? Are you going to fight it just by backing off? And then needing shape back in here? Could do that. If we play here, this is still in existence. Instead, he's following up on the bottom, which means white follows up on the center. He's just going to swallow the stones. I mean, black is just giving them up, so why not? Black follows. White says, I can double Hane because rumor has it you have a liberty shortage. To which black can easily fix the liberty shortage by threatening to connect up. Well, clearly white can't allow that to happen. So white has to draw back. And now white's the one with the liberty shortage. He's down to 3. 2 if he gets cut. So we gotta defend ourselves there. Leaving black Sente to play a large move. So we had a very interesting idea. Let's go after the small knights, because that's a clear weakness. And if we go after the small knight, we might get stronger in the middle. And if we get stronger in the middle, then we've got somewhere to draw our stone out. The result of that, on the other hand, was that black is getting a lot more of the middle for himself. But don't worry, things are getting better. White pulls out. Could he have just went along instead of double Hane? Huh? What double Hane? Was there a double Hane? What double Hane? I are confused. Where was there a double Hane? You mean and double Hane? Instead of L10. Okay. Instead of that. Oh, instead of the first Hane. Aha. Could he have done something else? Well, what would he do instead? Oh, just L11? Could. Can't Hane, though, because you're still in trouble. And fundamentally speaking, you're still in a bit of a problem right now, right? Because we can picture, let's say, you can't play elsewhere because, holy crap, that's a problem. I mean, we're still sacrificing this. So I guess we're going to have to extend again? At this point, probably playing here to make ourselves stronger again. And likely still... I mean, it takes away that. Might be able to do that instead. But now we have here. White does have those 2 stones, so he's got something to potentially run to, though black is now growing. Let's see. Threatens to come in. White says no. We can see things are escalating rather largely, because now this isn't just, oh my god, black is trying to take this area. Now it's holy crap, black is trying to take this area. And it's largely by mostly giving White what White wanted to go after those center stones, and he is getting them exactly. White wanted the corner in the upper right hand side. Didn't know how he was getting the influence initially, or what he's going to use the influence for initially, but we can see that that influence is paying off rather well right now. So we've got to fight all this. Forcing move, and defense. Can't be surrounded. Same deal. Black's nice and strong now. And white defends this side. I mean, it's 4th line territory. It's pretty good. Black says, you know what? Deal. Let's have you take all the 4th line territory, because, buddy, you deserve it. But we can already see the problem with that, right? If we play here, then all of that's just going to get slaughtered. That entire bit that he's trying to not give over to black is going to immediately be handed over to black. So, attachment definitely out the window. Instead, white says, hey, look at what I found. I found myself a large knight, and I heard they're trouble. So we're going to go after that. Pretty basic. Large knights have weaknesses, so let's exploit them. SGF tree still nice and straight. White cuts to create Samaji. Black takes stone. White goes over. Fairly obvious exchange for both parties. White connects up. Congratulations to white. But black gets some more stones as a result, but who cares, because he did not get denied out of the center, which is the most important part throughout all of this. Takes. Sente. Forces life. Sente. Should point out here that black has always been known for its good endgame. Also Sente, and continues building up the top. The Hane is very large, so that's going to be Sente. Same thing here, Hane is still very large for both, no reason not to take it. So congratulations, black gets a few points there. White disconnects, forces black to live. She can do pretty easy peasy. Have to be careful with all the throw-ins. Making our eye, very good idea. White cut. Ah, cursor. Stop doing that to me, cursor. Alright, there we go. Where was I? Ah, yeah, cut point. Black cuts because the taking here is not useful. Black has to take. White gets to do likewise. Threatens to cut through. Happily gets to save. Forces a connection. And keeps white from reducing any more of the bottom space. So now that's pretty sealed in, we can pretty well count the amount of territory that black has on the bottom of the board, since we know nothing's going to be drastically reducing it for the rest of the game, unless there's some weird co, which there isn't. Spoilers! White takes more on the side. No, that didn't happen. It did happen. Shoot. Alright, white Atari'd first. And then the tree got destroyed. Sort of. Maybe. Might have kind of failed at keeping this tree straight this time. But 154 moves is pretty impressive nonetheless for me. Yeah, it's like a record. Alright, so let's try not to make any more. Right. So black connects. Oh, is there actually a co? Do I not know this game? Wow. Right, because of A16. Yeah. Alright, so maybe there is a little co in this game. And by little, I mean kind of involving the life and death status of an entire corner. So great, we've got co-threats now. No audio? What? Are you serious? Yeah, people on Twitch are saying that I have no audio. Alright, for the lulz, it's just you. Alright, cool. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think for the lulz is just trying to make me mess up the tree again. Where was I? I don't know. Push. Right. Connect. Got it. And then take back? Yeah. Incidentally, I make the most mistakes typically in games like this, reviewing them, at the end, because endgame is also the one thing that I'm pretty much worst at. So it really shows while I'm reviewing. Oh yeah, if I sound like I have helium here on KGS, it's because it's your connection. Sometimes it's mine, but I think I fixed that one. Alright, so we had that. We push, and then what? Right, he took. White gets the stone. Doesn't matter. Black's still alive. Did this go all the way to counting? I don't remember it going all the way to counting. Yeah, this is by resignation. Reduction, reduction. Force and move, threaten to connect up before responding. Very, very important. Black saves his stone. Forces white response. Ah, and that's where white resigns. Ah, cool. So that's the game. Not the best example of the strategy that we were referring to, but it is one. Because we saw a lot of what White wanted. White wanted apparently some influence on the left-hand side. We can tell it by the high approach, the high pincer. White did get influence. White tried to use the influence to attack something. White got the stones he was attacking. But Black built up way too much while that was going on. And little games like that are kind of fun to look at. It's like, just because your opponent is trying to do something doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to stop it. The question is, how do you profit while they're trying to do that? And that's much more interesting. It really crushes their spirit, and that's really why we play Go, right? It's like, I'm going to give you what you want, and then you're going to resign and start crying. It's going to be fun. Exactly. Excellent attitude. Let's see, what time is it? 8:46. Did anyone have any questions about this particular game? I always overestimate how long these things are going to take. Is there any Aji in White playing B11? B11, where's B11? B11 is that. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're referring to this exchange, I assume? Trying to get in forcing moves this way? B11 and Black dead. What? What? B11... C11... yeah, you're miscounting Liberty. Yeah, you're one Liberty short. Yeah, that would definitely change the game quite a bit. Yeah, that would have changed the game if Black Ataris himself, if he plays that, but no. Let's see. Was J9 a big mistake for White? What was J9? J9 was this. I don't think so. I don't really see what other options White has here. I mean, seeing how the game actually ended, he'd probably go back and try something differently, but it makes sense what he played. Because you're not going to just play this, right? I think we know that the whole goal of just running this group out across the board is not one that we want to entertain. So we need to do something in the middle in order to be able to either activate that, or we need a nice way of being able to just sacrifice it. And we don't want to do this for the same reason. I mean, it's not as much as Black gets in the actual game, but we still don't want to just give up the stone. So counterattacking, I think, finding a way to counterattack, I think, is the right idea here. I don't know, as I want to say Spinal Tap? I think it was him, yeah. Mentioned the Hane itself might have been bad, because this turned off really, really badly. The minute Black gets both this and these forcing moves, this winds up realizing that, okay, those cutting stones are just not in the right position. This is just not looking good at all. So creating a cutting stone might have been the bad choice, and the extension probably is the right choice here. And we can tell that because of how this goes. I mean, the idea, I like the idea behind this. But yeah, there's just too much Aji. I mean, if these stones could get strong, then this game looks so much different. I mean, even this would have to start wondering, is it going to have to settle somehow? Is this stone going to be reactivated? You know, a whole bunch of different questions for a completely different game, but that's just not the way it went. There was just too much Aji, and the area Black was trying to swallow up just got immense. So yeah, cool idea, but those cutting stones are just couldn't get strong enough fast enough. let's see. Ah, you. We're there. What about J11 before J9? Did I actually go over that already? No, I didn't. Same thing, different order. Pretty much. Let's see, if there are no other questions, I'm not entirely certain what I'm doing for next lecture. I do know that I want to go over another Lee Changho game where we see a similar style where it's completely okay to give your opponent something because you can get something out of it too. I definitely like focusing on that style, even if it's not exactly the one that's most popular nowadays. Now it's all, you know, frack everything, we're just gonna kill them wherever we see them, who cares? They don't get anything, they don't deserve anything. We're just going to stab them any way we can. And that's fun to go over too, but I want to focus on this a little bit more. The reason why I won't wind up doing that, if I don't do that, is because a really, really, really good game is coming out, and I'm not certain if that's going to happen or not. So we'll have to see. If there's a really, really good game I really want to go over, we'll do that instead. Otherwise, we'll probably do this. Can we go over a game where he gets crushed trying to play his iron style? Wow, there are some games that way. Well, actually, if you actually mean a game where... Because how that iron style was crushed is by attacking it before it began, which is kind of what ushered in this really, really aggressive style of Go that we're seeing lately. Because the, I guess, quote-unquote answer to it was to attack them early on, immediately, and don't let up the pressure ever. They can't fall into that style. So... defeated! But yeah. I mean, I guess there are older games where he tries it and he loses, but... the one that's more interesting to me where it would be the little era of games where people just go at him non-stop immediately. There's some really, really beautiful games from those. I might go over one of those in a couple of lectures. Or maybe I'm real bored, something like that anyway. That said... let's see... yeah, alright. If there are no other questions, then thank you everybody for stopping by. Oh my god. I have just been notified that my YouTube channel now has 10,000 subscribers. I must make a video on that. Oh, that's such a cool number. I'll do something. I'll do something. Do not know what yet, but I will do something for it. But alright, thanks for stopping by. I will see you guys week after next, when I will have more than 10,000 subscribers.